deleted the email with the show notes somehow.
That's work in progress, as Will Smith says.
We're getting there. This is only season 2, so
3.
Is it season 3?
I think so. Yeah, this will be the season 3 premiere.
But are we doing that by like?
I count like a season finale as like the year in tears. Like that's a good way to wrap everything up.
Yeah, sure.
So we just did our second year in tears.
So we just started season 3.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We got to get our shit together.
I watched that terrible Jonah Hill movie on Netflix, You People.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
It is terrible. So it's a rom-com, and like in the conclusion, Jonah Hill gets together with the girl and they kiss happily ever after at the end.
Right.
But apparently some extra on the movie was on a different podcast this week and was like, I was there when we were filming it, watched them film this like wedding scene at the end, and they only got like, you know, an inch away from each other's faces, didn't actually kiss, and was like, how are they going to do this? He shared a video of the actual scene from the movie, and yeah, it's totally CGI'd. Like they smushed their faces together, and you can kind of see Jonah Hill's beard like morphing into her face, and they have weird like rose petals CGI falling in front of them to kind of obfuscate the view. Like it's
whoa,
a shit show. I have no idea, if they were that done with this movie that we don't really want to kiss each other by the end of it or what.
Wow.
But yeah, it's the most interesting thing to come away from that movie by far.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a weird contract thing, or like you said, it was just we're so over this.
Yeah, it's got a weird feel to it, and it's written and directed by the creator of Blackish. Mm-hmm. And so it very much has that personality, but then you pull up like the IMDb and it also says co-written by Jonah Hill. So I kind of wonder if he was just kind of all up in the guts of this movie and like rewriting stuff, and I don't know. It seems odd. I'm speculating there, obviously, but something's definitely off about this.
That's very strange.
But yeah, I guess we should say welcome to season 3. If this is your onboarding process.
Yeah, that's true.
This is our third year. So yeah, we obviously spend a great deal of time mostly fixating on movies and music, but we do go into tangential areas of entertainment, occasionally pro wrestling, video games, books, and obviously one of the biggest spectacle events of the year coming up. We got to touch on the end of fantasy season. So since we've got our fantasy expert on hand, how did your fantasy season conclude?
And we are underway.
I think the consensus is like pretty unanimous amongst critics and audience. Like Hot D was pretty great. This is a lot of stuff that people were missing from Game of Thrones, especially towards the end of that series when the writing was not
that was pathetic
great anymore. But there's also just something to be said for like the nature of that show just was that the first few seasons were more of this slow political drama, and that's what people need to get right to have like an intriguing Game of Thrones like show.
A gutsy call.
And these writers definitely realize that, at least so far. I mean, I'm really hoping it's not just building up to
this is critical
bigger battles because of the slower build up, but yeah, it just seemed like they weren't getting bogged down with focusing on that kind of stuff in the first season. I mean, I feel like there are more scenes of people giving birth as opposed to battle scenes in that show, which
I don't know what that's all about.
Might be its own can of worms.
But a lot of fun to watch.
But it's not just going all we need to throw in some spectacle every week. Which is kind of what I feel like maybe Rings of Power got wrong a little bit.
Bad decision.
When Ring of Power did big scenes and stuff, sometimes that was the stuff I was really enjoying, was just when a scene was really artfully put together.
He is on fire!
But just as a whole, the story just
goes nowhere.
It was just nothing, you know? And I think a lot of people about halfway through the season were realizing
no good!
There's just not a lot going on here. There's like 4 different storylines, but
what a disaster box!
None of them are really moving forward in a satisfying way.
Oh, that's brutal!
And another thing that I think is a great comparison for both of these shows is that the writers of House of the Dragon have talked about the fact that every character in the show is morally gray. You're gonna land somewhere on the spectrum of liking them or hating them.
Well, sort
And
of.
it's probably gonna be more towards the middle and not really knowing exactly how to feel. And then you have Ring of Power where famously at this point, or infamously I would say, one of the main characters wraps the season by saying, "I'm good." Like
it?
straight up.
What the heck?
Okay.
So there's a big difference in the writing there.
Pathetic.
And as I had said in the earlier Fantasy Corner segment, that's not where I'm at, you know?
No, I hate to see that kind of
House
stuff.
of the Dragon, Game of Thrones is just more my flavor.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to, I guess, both coming
sort
back
of.
at some point, because I'm down to give Rings of Power another chance.
You can't do that.
Amazon's got a ton invested in this, so it's not like they're gonna pull a Netflix and just cancel after a season, right? They're
No, I could see the showrunners getting canned.
I don't know what that's
But-
all
You said
about.
earlier, like, the lightheartedness was kind of one of the things that drew you into Rings of Power. Did that kind of start to feel a little thin after a while, or there wasn't much depth
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough. That alone cannot keep me invested in it. And that show had like some cool songs and stuff that I think they wrote for the show.
Holy
that,
smoke!
characters are singing, and like all that stuff is really great. And that's, yeah, there are moments in that show that are really, really great. But
I gotta see that
I couldn't
again.
really tell you much about any of the characters, I don't
He
think.
just had
They've
him
got
for
like,
lunch.
one or two attributes.
I thought there's a good buddy pair, I remember. Is that was like an elf and
Oh.
somebody?
How did he miss that?
That's, I would say, yeah, the Elrond and Durin storyline was still the best out of all of it. That was pretty good. Those actors were pretty great.
So it's got some things to hang its hat on. It's not a total write-off.
For sure. Like I said, yeah, there's some great battle scenes, just really well visualized stuff,
So it sounds like it's at least an improvement over the Hobbit trilogy. Like, it has potential.
Yeah, I mean, I have no desire to go back and watch those movies. Well, I guess I don't have a desire to go back and watch the Rings of Power season either. But I will watch a season 2.
Well, we got to talk about the real MVP of fantasy season, particularly because it bucks the trend so many rookie sensations before it fall into. Looking at you, Stranger Things Season 2, True Detective Season 2. But White Lotus not only avoids the sophomore slump, but I would say exceeds it. I thought this season was better than Season 1. What'd you think of White Lotus?
Yeah, I think this season was more fun. I loved the ambiguity of this season, and I think that's why some people might be ranking it lower.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Aubrey Plaza storyline, I think, was a bit polarizing for people. And at times I don't really know how to feel about that either. But I don't know, I still do appreciate that attempt to not just spell things out and kind of have throughout that storyline just ambiguity in character motivation and stuff like that. I don't feel like you really ever totally understand Ethan as a character, and maybe that's a flaw or maybe it's a choice, But yeah, what did you think of Jennifer Coolidge in this season? So I think that was another make or break thing for people.
Yeah, I thought she was great. It's funny you say that, like, you like the ambiguity. I think that kind of like puts a pin on exactly why I liked most of the season, and I didn't necessarily like the finale as well, because it kind of it leads you down some paths and like draws conclusions, obviously, about what happens to Jennifer Coolidge's character.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as much as I liked Aubrey Plaza and her husband's relationship, but I thought that was really interesting, like, the ending just left me wanting a little more, either with, like, the intentions of the couple that invited them there, or, like, I wanted something else.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's focus on the stuff you did like about it then. Since what made it better than season 1 for you?
I don't know. I felt like the cast was a little more rounded out. Like, I liked everybody in this one a little more, whereas, like, I found myself just waiting on Steve Zahn to show up every time in season 1.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
they've both got really good casts. I would say these characters just feel a little more fleshed out. Every set had an interesting storyline. There wasn't, like, a segment where I was like, okay, I'm good with these guys. Let's get to the other couple, So It was really well rounded out. I thought it had a really good, just kind of overarching narrative about relationships in general, like the Michael Imperioli from The Sopranos. His kid was cracking me up, just like getting taken advantage of and trying to finally be a hard ass. And then it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done.
Pretty great character.
I didn't realize until I looked it up, the dude who tries to get with Jennifer Coolidge, that's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. I did not know that. That blew my mind.
Yeah, you don't see him too often, or at least I don't.
No,
but he's great. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite storyline from season 2?
I don't know. I kind of like the wraparound story of the 2 prostitutes. Like, I felt like that encapsulated everything this season wanted to say really, really well. And I think that was something that I felt the first season may have been lacking, that this had a nice bow on top of it where it like tied everybody together really well and kind of put a final thesis out there for the whole season and everybody's relationships and storylines that all kind of intertwined. I know we watch obviously a lot more movies than TV on here, but I think White Lotus was my MVP for 2022.
Dang.
I don't think anybody had a better season. If you could take a cast from another TV show and put them in season 3 of The White Lotus, what TV show would you take to spend a season at The White Lotus?
That's a good question.
I can give you mine while you think if you want.
Yeah,
Okay. So my initial thought as a 90s kid was I want to see a Boy Meets World reunion and get all those people to act together. But then I thought of a better one, and I thought how great it would be to see Jason Bateman and Will Arnett and the whole Arrested Development crew.
Yeah.
I think that's my answer.
Yeah, it's funny how that doesn't seem like a huge shift in genre to me.
No, they
it seems very fitting. That's a good one. I think I'm pretty far off because I can't get past my just initial thing that popped into my head when you asked me. And it's Everybody Loves Raymond. I don't know why, but I just thought, I could see Ray getting...
You get in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, right. You could see him getting seduced or something, or getting into trouble with the hotel manager.
All kinds of hijinks. That would be great.
Yep.
They were talking about doing a Muppets Glass Onion or Knives Out sequel. They should just do a Knives Out White Lotus crossover and have Benoit Blanc investigate the next dead body that shows up.
That's great. Yeah.
He'd fit in well there.
Those work together too. Definitely. Yeah, we got to team up Mike White and Ryan Johnson.
I think
that's a good pairing.
He's got a show on Peacock now. What is that, Poker Face? Have you heard of that?
I've been watching it, dude.
Yeah? How is it?
I like it a lot.
I need to check it out. I finally watched Yellow Jackets. That's on my 2022 medal stand. That was great.
Nice.
I finally watched Andor. Any thoughts you want to share on that one? That fits kind of into fantasy, doesn't it? Maybe.
Yeah. Play the music again. We're back. It's weird because it's not really hitting that tone of Star Wars that I like so much.
Yeah.
But Rogue One, that one still kind of won me over just because it was like trying to do different stuff. Really seeing what you could do within the Star Wars universe. And I feel like Andor does that, but it's also written much better. I find the characters much more compelling.
I really liked it. My only criticism, I think, was I kind of wish the whole heist that starts off like the first 6 episodes, like I could have had that condensed into like an episode. Because I felt like it took me a while to get into it. I didn't really care about a lot of the people he was going on the heist with, and then after it just ended and he went to jail, I was like, okay, now I'm interested. That all piqued my interest way more.
I was a bit bored with the conflict between him and the suspicious crew member, the one that was, it's just like, okay, we've seen this a lot before, you guys. There's a little bit of sag in it throughout the season. I think some stuff could have been a bit briefer, but no, overall, thought it was pretty great.
What did you think about the rumor that the initial line at the end of the finale was supposed to be "fuck the Empire" instead of "fight the Empire"?
Yeah, I thought that was confirmed.
Well, I mean, do you think that fits in the Star Wars universe?
No, I think that's going too far. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why, but yeah, I don't think it needs that.
I'm gonna make your skin crawl right now, but like after that speech, I wanted like a needle drop Rage Against the Machine soundtrack blaring through. I was ready to go. I wanted it all.
I wish this was a video podcast so people could just
see how hard you're shaking your head. Roll your eyes back to the forward position, sir.
I'll try.
All right, so today I am honored to invite with us on the show Mr. Kory Gregory of Prince Daddy and the Hyena. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I know it's kind of the obvious place to start, but my dad's going to kill me if I don't ask, because every time he sees me wearing the Prince Daddy and the Hyena green hoodie, he's like, what does Prince Daddy and the Hyena mean? So where does the band name come from?
Damn rough start. I'm gonna keep that one a secret.
Okay. Can you share any runners up, or like were there seconds on the list that you almost went with?
As far as band names?
Yeah.
No, honestly, there was never anything else. The band name was a thing before the band was a thing.
It was always Prince Daddy.
Yeah, it was always meant to be.
Gotcha. How young were you before you got involved with like independent DIY scene?
I started off, my introduction to everything was kind of just like my parents let us throw little house gigs at their house when I was like a sophomore in high school. So we just have like just hit up a bunch of bands that I liked, like email them. I was into like relatively smaller stuff, so like people would respond. Like I wasn't hitting up like Green Day or something. I was hitting up like one of the first shows that happened at the house was like Jade from Oso Oso, his old band State Lines.
Oh, awesome!
Like bands like that, and they would come through, and like that's kind of how I became acquainted with everyone who's like my close friends now. And then I first started writing. I had songs, but I was too shy. I didn't have anyone to play music with in school. Yeah. So I kind of just did it for fun. And then obviously started meeting new people through that. And then Prince Daddy essentially just started as soon as I graduated high school.
So what's the most amount of people you packed into your house for a show? Do you have like a legendary night that everybody refers to?
The biggest show we ever had there was probably the Hotelier.
Nice.
It was the Hotelier and Little Big League, which is Michelle from Japanese Breakfast.
Yeah,
old
bands.
Awesome. Yeah.
So did you have like a gateway drug that got you into independent music, or like bands that led you into punk labels and stuff?
Green Day. That's an easy one. You know, I feel like that's everyone's gateway drug, either Green Day or Blink or something. But as far as like, you know, actually independent like DIY music rather than just like alternative music, I feel like probably Bomb Music Industry.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Jeff Rosenstock's band. I feel like that was a big one that like Green Day's what made me like want to do it, but I feel like Bomb was the band that made me like be like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Made it feel more accessible.
Yeah.
There ever kind of like a light switch moment, like a show that you went to where you decided you wanted to be more of a contributor than a consumer?
That's a good question, but I don't think I have a good answer. No, I don't really think so. I don't think there was ever a time like that. I think it was just I guess the light switch moment was just like writing my first song, because I've always been an appreciator, and I feel like I still am that.
Yeah.
Before I am a creator, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that wherever my creations come from, they stem from me being an appreciator, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm just trying to embody something else that I appreciate, and like, you know, like I'm just trying to write the next best Green Day song.
Right. So how did you psych yourself up the first time you shared some of your own material with somebody?
That's a really good question that I'm actually trying to think about, because I could not imagine myself sharing my first song with someone. I was also such a little insecure little baby.
It's a big hurdle.
But yeah, I'm wondering how I did that, and I don't know. It probably just came from back in the day. I kind of was shielded by like the concept of like, oh, not giving a fuck. Like it's all a big joke in a game, and like it's silly and whatever. Like the sillier the better. Like yeah, it's supposed to be bad, whatever. Like that kind of stuff. Like I feel like I had like some kind of shield like that, which was probably subconsciously intentional.
Yeah,
you know. Coming from an insecure dude. It's
right.
Like I want to make music, but I'm too insecure, so I'll just make stupid music. That's the gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
Then like I feel like a lot of our old demos were like that, and then I feel like gradually the more I was like comfortable writing music, the less I would be singing about eating Cheetos and pizza and, you know, gravity bongs and stuff like that. Like I still do all those things. I still love doing all those things, but I feel like now I'm able to like get to the point of like make something I'm proud of instead of just like making something that I can stomach to put out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I've read that you consider Roswell Kid a big inspiration, and that kind of makes sense because they balance that kind of goofy quirkiness with really also like vulnerable emotional topics.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. One of the first times the original lineup of Prince Daddy ever actually hung out for the first time was a Roswell Kid show.
Nice.
And it was Roswell Kid, Hotelier, World is a Beautiful Place, and this band called Posher and the Grizzly.
Oh yeah.
And the singer of Posher and the Grizzly is currently playing bass in our live band now. So it's
nice.
just a weird giant amalgam of it's some weird incestual stuff going on.
How much do people underestimate the work that goes into being a band?
I mean, I don't want to make it seem like, yeah, man, it's just a struggle being out there on the road with my best friends, playing music, having people sing the songs just like for the hours of the day that I'm like at my desk, at my job, like people cheer me on for taking a shot of vodka or something. It's like, I don't want to pretend like that's not like, it's fucking awesome. I can swear, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But I would definitely say now that it's like a full-time thing, more work goes into it now. We definitely, want to do the best we can. So we put in the most we can. And that is like a everyday thing. All three of the permanent P Daddy members right now, there's no day job. There's like little side gigs here and there. Like Cameron, our guitarist, does graphic design. Like me and Daniel both from time to time play for other bands just as like hired guns. But this is like the career, So I feel like with that in mind, I feel like we all definitely enjoy having that push to like do better, be the best version of ourselves. Yeah.
That's got to be gratifying to get to that level as a band.
Yeah, it's great. It's really fucking awesome, honestly.
For you personally, do you take more gratification in touring and doing the grind with live performances, or do you like putting together records?
Good questions. Yeah. It's two totally different things for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I appreciate them both because of the other one. My instinctual response to that would be writing records, making records. Like I really do appreciate being a hermit and sitting in my room and writing music, having a month being a hermit and a recluse, but also going on tour and raging with your best friends for like a month or whatever. And that's you doing your job. That's me being productive. That's very good for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then by the end of that, I'm just like, all right, I don't want to see any of y'all for a month. I want to go sit in my room and write songs and make noises on my computer, and I feel like once I've had a month or so of each, I'm ready for the exact opposite. And I feel like I'm grateful I have both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess to answer your question, actually, to give you an answer, I would say writing songs.
Okay. Are you constantly working on ideas, or do you like to give yourself a little time to kind of decompress and enjoy the last project before you start chugging away at new stuff?
I'm definitely constantly just, even if it's nothing like specific, I have something I'm working on, whether it's just like learning a new like fucking samplers and stuff like that I'm learning and just like trying to get inspiration from stuff like that. Like even right now I have opened like a GarageBand session or a Logic session of a song.
Yeah.
Just for nothing. Just it's what I do for like that's my video games,
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I do for fun. People won't hear 90% of this stuff that I have on here, but it's fun. I stay up late at night doing this stuff.
Well, with how much you enjoy it, do you ever have to kind of make yourself step away to give yourself a break so you're not just burying yourself in work?
Sometimes, yeah. But also, I struggle like referring to it as work even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like I'm doing it an injustice by calling it work, because when I'm playing with like my samplers and my little gadgets and stuff, I'm not doing that for Prince Daddy or anything specifically. I'm just doing that because it's fun. So it's just like, that's pretty much just me playing Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting on the couch while Daniel, who's our drummer in our room, or my roommate or my girlfriend are playing Skyrim or something.
Yeah.
I'll probably be playing with my little guys. Every once in a while I'll think about it. I'll be like, damn, I should have a different hobby than my job. But then I'm like, damn, it's fun. I like it. It makes me happy.
Definitely. Well, I'm such a massive fan of your lyricism. Do you have any lyrical icons you look up to?
It changes. It definitely changes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, just like fundamentally, the people who like taught me to write songs, like Green Day or Weezer or Bomb Music Industry or something are in there. But as far as like my like philosophy towards writing lyrics and stuff, I would say, do you know the band Granddaddy?
Oh yeah.
Jason Lytle or Little, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I think his lyrics are very special to me. I take a lot of inspiration from that.
Right on. So the big announcement circulating this week has been the unveiling of boygenius, the supergroup with Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to assemble a Prince Daddy supergroup, who would you try to recruit?
That's hard. Should it be people that I know? or can it be anybody?
Anybody. We'll give you carte blanche. Living. We'll say living. That'll be the one
Living.
restraint.
Okay.
You don't get to go grab like Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain.
It would be me on guitar.
Okay.
Billy Joe playing bass.
All right.
Billy Joe's playing bass. Jade from Oso Oso is singing.
Okay.
Nice. Writing the songs. Who's playing drums? Honestly, Daniel from Prince Daddy's playing drums.
There you go. It's the highest compliment.
Yeah.
So with Cosmic Thrill Seekers, your guys' 2019 album, you created this insane tapestry of interconnected themes and melodies that kind of all bleed together, have this beautiful album experience. Do you have any desire to have this big concept album going in the future? Or are you like, we did that, we just kind of want to feel out our material and let things happen organically from here on out?
I think a combination of both of those things.
Okay.
Where in my head, the third record is just as much a concept record.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't push that narrative as much. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't the point of it.
Yeah.
Whereas Cosmic Thrill Seekers was very calculated in that sense, where it was just like its entity is a concept record,
right,
before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But the newest record, I feel like, while it's just as much of like a narrative and a concept and thematic and stuff, that wasn't the intention. Like that wasn't the exciting part. Wasn't that, you know? The exciting part was the songs.
Yeah, and it was super ambitious. I'm a big fan of the self-titled record.
Thank you.
There's definitely a fearless confidence in your writing, and it's so admirable.
Thank you. That means a lot.
How do you trust your instincts in writing and just allowing yourself to kind of explore all these different stylistic terrains?
I don't.
You don't?
Yeah, I definitely don't trust them, but I'll follow my instincts a lot more than what shows.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of it that I shouldn't have trusted. And that stuff doesn't make it onto a record, you know?
Right.
Whatever I stay excited about and don't like get embarrassed of the next day is usually what I'll show to the band. And then whatever the band is excited about after that is kind of the filter of Koryisms. Or just like, I'll give it a day and it's just like, yeah, I'll keep that one on the hard drive.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll send it to the band if like, depending on the level of excitement.
Yeah.
And obviously depending on the level of like significance it has to whatever, like a song like, for instance, Black Mold on our newest record, which is like kind of crucial, or like the first song, Adore the Sun.
Yeah.
Listening to my band not be excited about that wouldn't make me be like, okay, we'll put that on the back burner. If anything, that would make me just be like, okay, I need to make this more interesting. But
yeah. So
yeah,
you talked about Black Mold. You said that's one of your proudest songs. Can you expand upon kind of what went into the creative process with that and why it means so much to you?
This song is just about some subject matter that I feel like was a long time coming as far as writing about that I never really touched upon.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like that song is like looking at what Prince Daddy songs were in the first place. Yeah. Like what we were talking about before, where it was like me singing about like pizza and smoking weed and just like and being an idiot and playing Sonic and shit, which I love. I think that's dope and I still do that. But I feel like looking back on that and like all just like the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, over, that kind of thing, like 2-minute long songs, nothing repeats, which is again sick. But it's just like thinking about that as Prince Daddy and then thinking like about like Black Mold, which is like a 9-minute song.
Yeah.
With only one riff the entire time.
Right.
Like there's no second riff. Like it's just one riff that's the song structure is a riff that builds. And it's not only is it not about like weed and pizza, but it's just about like this heavy ass subject matter. I feel like just looking at that, I was just like, there's a certain level of comfort.
Yeah.
The comfort of like looking at that, I feel like I was happy with my ability to like try new things regardless of reception.
Yeah.
Cause also like, did I think people were going to like it? No. And is there people who don't like it? Yes. Like yeah, absolutely. There's people who like old Prince Daddy music who are like, that's going to be the song I skip. And that makes sense. And that's fine. But I'm just happy that it exists.
Yeah. The larger that Prince Daddy gets, do you ever feel beholden to make music for fans or record labels, or you're always prioritizing your own creative experimentation?
Definitely a mix of both.
Yeah.
I would love to say like, oh yeah, I never think about that, but I definitely think about it.
Yeah.
But
you have to.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't even like push itself through to the music making, but it's definitely something that's so hard to not think about. Like just seeing like, I don't know, like a negative comment on YouTube or something, which really, really, really like at this point does not bother me, but subconsciously does it like maybe have an effect on like maybe instead I'll make the guitars sound a little heavier during this part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think about it until a time like right now when you ask me. But
sorry, forget I brought it up.
realistically,
Never mind, we'll
like,
cut all this out.
No, it's all good. But like realistically, like maybe it does, but I'm fine with the criticism.
Yeah.
When Cosmic Disappears came out and people were kind of less into that, that was harder for me. That one I was like not pissed about, but just like there was a certain level of like defeat.
Yeah.
Because that was my first time like really, really, really trying to make a record. Like really like putting some thought and calculations and equations into making a record. And then that one just didn't resonate with some people. And I feel like that kind of gave me the little exoskeleton to be even more fucked up and jarring on the next record.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. And opinions and judgments were also more fucked up and jarring too. But I feel like this time it affected me significantly less. Where I was like, there's no way anyone besides the writer of this music is going to like every one of these songs. This has our heaviest music, our softest music, our fastest music, our slowest music.
Yeah.
So that kind of let me accept that. So yes, I do think about it, but also I don't fret about it.
Yeah. I mean, you say there was a lot of negative reaction to Cosmic Thrill Seekers, but I feel like it's a pretty successful album. Do you find yourself fixating on the negative a little bit more?
At that time, yes. That was the first experience of seeing anything like that. Because before, like, there was no attention at all. So before that, it was just like, oh, I forgot to take my meds. They popped up in a Spotify algorithm or something. But like, there's no reviews being written of that record. There's no like worrying about pre-orders or something like, you know what I'm saying? Cosmic Thrill Seekers was the first one where there's any eyes on us, there's any numbers to keep track of, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like having like a song where I sing about Jurassic Park 3 constantly stumping, a song where I like am talking about like a suicide attempt or something. It's just like it's disheartening a little bit, but I get it now.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't bother me. And yes, there's people who like have tattoos of that record and stuff. Like it was not received negatively as much as it just like wasn't received much at all.
Are you talking about like streaming numbers and vinyl sales? I just don't understand. It feels like you're being way too harsh on yourself. Like, you made a phenomenal album. I love it. A lot of people love it. Like, do you find yourself looking back on things more harshly than others?
Looking back on it, I was definitely too harsh on myself with the little criticism that I did receive from that record. Because we certainly got more criticism for this next record, but this one I feel way better about as far as like where it stands, its place in the P. Daddy canon.
Awesome. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
And that's also not to say that at this point I'm also very, very happy with where Cosmic Thrill Seeker stands. I'm happy where the P. Daddy canon is in general. Yeah. Good. I think the timeline is where it's supposed to be.
All right. Well, Prince Daddy and the Hyena, you guys are going on tour with Drug Church, Web Wing, and Anxious.
Yes, sir.
Check out the dates, princedaddy.com.
Yes, sir.
Before we get you out of here, we got some either ors. You want to go through these rapid fire with us?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So, Paul McCartney's Christmas Time or John Lennon's So This Is Christmas?
So This Is Christmas. Just because Christmas Time has a stupid little synth noise that always pisses me off.
The echo.
Yeah.
Nacho Cheese Doritos or Cool Ranch?
Cool Ranch.
Sonic the Hedgehog or Super Mario?
Sonic.
Reinventing Axl Rose or Eternal Cowboy?
Eternal Cowboy. Easy.
Mexican...
Searching for a Form of Clarity, though, is number one for me.
Oh, okay. Good. I like that. Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore?
Billy Madison. Easy.
Waffle House or IHOP?
Waffle House.
Shaq or Kobe?
You gotta say Kobe.
Okay. Black Sabbath or the Misfits?
That one's tricky. I'm gonna say the Misfits.
Okay. I Think You Should Leave or Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job?
I Think You Should Leave.
And last, Dookie or the Blue Album?
Blue Album.
Okay. Wow.
If it was Insomniac versus Pinkerton, I would have said Insomniac.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, because one of the guys on the show is a huge Green Day fan.
Yep.
So can you give me your hierarchy of like top 3 Green Day records?
Yes. Insomniac 1.
Wow.
Nimrod 2. Warning 3.
I'm glad you got Nimrod up there because I'm always telling him that one's not getting as much credit as it deserves.
It's a great record. It's a great record.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you talking with us today.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me.
Man, have fun on tour.
Fuck yeah.
Au revoir.